Hey passengers, George here, and we're here for another exciting Grand Circle Tour Detour. And this one I'm really excited about, and I can't wait to hear all about it because there was a buildup of anticipation for so long. And joining me today to talk about it is our captain of the ship, so to speak, our captain Stan Solo. Hey Stan, how you doing?
Hey, George, I am doing great today.
I hear you just got back from a little trip to a little place called Walt Disney World.
Yeah, other than being back home, I'm doing great. Yeah, I went for an 8-day trip, solo trip to Walt Disney World, and got to do something that I was hoping I'd be able to do, but didn't think I'd be able to do on this trip, which we're going to talk about today.
Awesome, perfect. And we also have a very special guest with us. We have John, or AKA Big Fat Panda, from BigFatPanda.com. Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, good. Can I laugh when Stan says he was on a solo trip?
Yes, most definitely.
I mean, even when he's with people, isn't he technically on a solo trip?
Everything with him is solo. 'Cause it's All right, well, passengers, let's get right into it because we're going to talk about the Disney Skyliner. And I'm very excited to hear what you guys think because you guys got to actually experience it before it even opens up to the general public. So I guess my first question, what was your overall thought even before stepping aboard? John, you want to
Okay,
go?
I was disappointed that they weren't building monorails because the monorail, to me is the icon. And I was like, what are they doing? And I remember being a kid and going to like a Six Flags theme park and traveling on a rudimentary bucket in the sky, a Skyliner gondola. And I didn't like it. So I was not excited. So this really, I won't get to our reactions yet, but my excitement was extremely low. My expectations were low. And I was slightly fearful of it.
Were you scared of it breaking down? Were you afraid of being over the
I was
water?
scared of completely falling, like a completely unfounded fear. Yeah, I think, because technically the bucket is not attached. The gondola is not attached to this wire. It just comes into the station and it goes onto the wire.
Oh,
That
it's
non-attached,
attached.
right, but that non-attachment, you know,
I know what you mean.
I need crazy glue and attachment things. And I honestly think being a big guy does go into the worry. I think if you're a smaller person, you'd be like, this is no big deal. I'm like, this is going to fall. I'm going to die.
Well, I have to say, this really doesn't have anything really to do with it, but I was currently at Disneyland and I was on the Pixar Palaron, the Ferris wheel. And I tell you what, I'm a thrill junkie, but every single time I am on one of those things, because I go on the swinging bucket one,
Yep.
I come off with sweaty palms every single time. And I'm not that big, so I'm right there with
Okay.
you.
That does scare me too. I don't like when you always think, am I going to fly right out?
Yes. But I could do the
Yep.
Incredicoaster. So,
Yeah, I feel more secure on something like that.
yeah,
Slinky Dog, I feel completely secure too.
I don't know what it is.
It makes no sense.
No. So, Stan, what do you think?
Yeah, going into this, when they first announced it, I was really excited. I thought, okay, we already have the monorails, we already have the boats, we have the buses. This is another form of transportation. I looked at it that way. I was really excited. And the other thing, too, is you look back at those old videos of Disneyland when they got the monorail going and they have the gondolas going and they have the submarine going all in that same photo. And I thought this would be great. It would add a new kinetic energy to the parks that wasn't there before. So I was really excited about the starting of it. I was really excited about what it's going to look like. I was gung-ho about it. Now, I was also afraid, but for a completely different reason, because I was afraid it was going to be high. It was going to be rocking in the wind. It was going to be moving around. And Mr. Solo here might get a little bit, upset stomach from that movement. So that was my biggest fear, was going into it. I wasn't afraid of it falling or anything. I didn't have an irrational fear.
Wait, Stan. You can't
Yeah.
say being high. That's the fear of falling, right? Come on. There's no other reason.
I'm not really afraid of heights. I'm afraid of movement, and like teacups aren't high, but I'm afraid to ride them
Okay.
because they've been
Okay.
around.
Fair
You know what I
enough.
mean?
So
I'm
basically,
picturing them rocking in the wind and picturing them going fast and then going up and then coming down on the wire. I'm picturing myself getting, my stomach going in my throat is what I was afraid of.
So basically, just take him up about 10,000 feet, but don't have no movement.
No movement. He'll be fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I could go on my roof and look down on my, on a 4-story house, no problem. I don't get the vertigo in that sense. I do get when I drop, like Splash Mountain. That drop is too much for me. I can't do Splash Mountain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do like that.
Yeah, like that type of thing. That was my fear.
Okay, so I guess now would be you guys arrived. So where did you guys actually? Was there a main station that you go to, or can you go to any location where the gondola system is, or does everyone have to go to one location?
For the preview, they had us go to Hollywood Studios. I'm assuming that's where Stan went also.
Yeah. For all the preview ones, they are stationed at Hollywood Studios,
which was kind of a good starting point only because you went from the studios to the main hub, Caribbean Beach, and then from there you could go anywhere. And let me just say that the hubs themselves, each one has a restroom, which I thought was great. And one of them has a Joffrey's coffee kiosk.
Oh, that's interesting.
I missed that completely. I saw you mention that on your news report on Fox. I didn't see the Joffrey's coffee. I didn't see.
It was at Caribbean Beach. If you just walked down to the left, kind of like, when you get off the monorail at Magic Kingdom or at the, I'm sorry, not Magic Kingdom, the Transportation and Ticket Center, there's a kiosk there. Kind of just like that, where you just walk down there and it was right there. It was kind of like people didn't know whether it would be open or not, and it was open. I was like, this just can't get better. I can grab coffee. I can go to the restroom if need be. For families with kids, it's great that they can't complete. I thought, okay, you're going to have to hold it until Epcot, little Jimmy. Nope. Little Jimmy's just fine.
That's actually convenient. I think that's very smart on their behalf.
Yeah, it's an undertaking, I think, too, to, man these brand new restrooms and all that stuff.
Now, did you both got to go the whole entire route? Did you see each?
I did the whole thing. Did you, Stan?
Yeah, we did the whole thing. Now, when you got to the hub, did you do Epcot first, or did you go to Pop Century Art of Animation first?
Pop Century Art of Animation. I kind of left the long haul for the last one.
See, we did it the opposite. We went to Epcot first, mainly because I wanted to do my home resort, because I always go to Pop. Plus, I knew Pop was very low to the water, and I wanted to kind of experience that after.
Okay.
Was what we wanted to do it that way.
I wanted to end it on like a big high note with that. I even like the turn that I will get into that. The turn
was cool. Yes.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Yeah.
I'm gonna start with you, Panda. What was your gondola character color, and if you could remember, and then start us off with your experience, literally from stepping aboard to descending off to the traveling and then to the landing.
Okay, and most of this is on video if you want to verify my facts.
Okay.
But I think it was Pirates of the Caribbean. I did not realize, because I like to film stuff, I didn't realize that when it's wrapped, it's actually not as clear out the window as the unwrapped, which we did get eventually. So the first one we got on, I think, was Pirates of the Caribbean. It was only me and 2 cast member friends. I remember when I first boarded, it moves a little bit. You can move it a little bit. So it was a little uneasy under my feet until I sat on the bench. And I then looked around. I was like, wow, this just feels roomy to me. Again, it was only 3 people, but even with 8 people, I'd feel comfortable. And that's saying a lot. With 10 people, which is what they claim is the max, I would think that was too much for me. And I think that's just being a wider person. I wouldn't like that. And they didn't seem to cram you in, and they seem to ask. I don't know if they'll do this on busy periods, but they seem to ask, do you mind being with other people when we got to a busier station? So the 3 people we immediately take off, and it is zippy. When it takes off, it tilts and glides quick out of the station onto the wire. There is no sense of an angle going up that I thought I would feel. The arm adjusts, and you just go up naturally. You're all leveled out. And I remember my first thing was thinking of Charlie with Willy Wonka at the end of the original film when he says, I've pressed all the buttons, Willy Wonka's, except for this one, and the Wonkavator goes up and out. That's what I felt. I felt this elated feeling. And then there was this communal experience with the other gondolas passing by. Like, we're all in this for the first time, and everybody's, some people are waving at each other. I don't want to step on Stan because I could talk forever about this. We even found sounds that would not normally be, I was like, oh, they're playing bird sounds. And my friend Todd, cast member, and his wife Cheryl, like, no, that's really because we're up by the trees. We're hearing real birds. I'm like, oh, that's something I would never have, heard. So I loved it. Like I felt this calm. Like, okay, it's not dangerous. I don't feel like I'm going to fall. There is also an emergency call button on there. I don't know what it would do.
Keep you busy for a couple of minutes.
Are there Kit Kats anywhere on board? But my first reaction then going to Caribbean Beach was I liked it. And I'll have more to say, but I want to give Stan a shot.
Yeah, our first one was Finding Dory. And we kind of argued a little bit whether it was Finding Dory or Finding Nemo, and I guess there was one character on there that was on Finding Dory. It wasn't on Finding Nemo. That's the only reason why I remember which one it was. And you're right. You're better off. I prefer being in the ones that don't have the characters, simply because you got a more unobstructed view.
And then you can see the characters.
Yeah, and then you can see the character. Right, exactly. And the takeoff, to me, I felt, what it reminded me of more of is soaring. That initial, when you first start moving and soaring, is what to me it felt like. And I really felt the angle. Like I'm very sensitive to movement and whatnot. Like when I'm on a ship, I'll say the ship is moving, and everyone else will say you're crazy. Like when we're still at dock, and no, we're moving. And anyone look, well, you're right, we are moving. Like I have like a internal radar for movement.
So
I felt the movement going.
So within
it wasn't bad.
So within that moment, Stan, did you think that there was a possibility that you were going to get sick?
No, I didn't think it was going to at all.
You didn't feel like you had to hit that emergency button?
Emergency brake. No, I didn't feel like I was going to be going up. I didn't think it was going to be a problem. I was more worried about the coming down part, which was a little bit. There's more intense coming down than it is going up. That's for sure. And I agree with the 8 people. I think would be very comfortable. 10 is probably pushing it. One of the things that we realized right away, I mean, we're going to talk about the heat, but depending on what side you're sitting on, really affects your temperature. If you have your back to the direction you're going, it's a bit warmer on that side than if you're facing the direction you're going. We found that out really quick.
Now, like how they do have on the monorail, where they try to get as many people in as possible, where you're either sitting or standing. With the Skyliner, I'm assuming they want everybody sitting.
Everybody does have to sit, yes.
Okay.
They even tell you that. I've heard them tell people. Stan, did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that at all.
Oh, the guy said everybody has to be seated. As a matter of fact, when 3 people walked on, and this wasn't for me, so I know this wasn't a weight thing because I heard him saying it to other people. He's like, 2 and 1, please, 2 and 1. So I don't think it's going to affect it if all 3 sat on one side, but I think they want it to be as equal as possible. So I heard them directing, equal people on each side.
Oh, I didn't hear that at all. We had 4 of us in our group, and we had 4 on one side for quite often. And I was bouncing back and forth between the 2 of them, trying to get good views.
Wow, they said if you stand up, it's like a big deal. If you watch my video, you could hear the people saying, how to sit, not to stand. Wow.
Oh, yeah, no, I was bouncing back and forth, checking the temperatures out, getting different camera angles. I didn't hear that. Mind you, I don't hear very well, so that might have been part of the problem.
George, can we talk about the landing?
Yeah, most definitely. So, yeah, what happened? Because I've heard that there's something.
Well, here's the thing: is that when the car goes into the station, it's off the wire, and it can move nice and slow to load and unload people. As a matter of fact, even if there's handicapped, that particular gondola gets taken off the line and doesn't have to be continuously moving. So that is just an ingenious design where it rolls away, kind of like if you've ever seen Toy Story Mania. It rolls away to another area. They load it up and then they push it back onto the line.
So they don't have to do no sudden stops with it.
Nope. But as you come in, it does look like you are going to ram in front of you, and then right as you get to it, you have this very nice soft landing. And what I thought of was, did you ever see those really expensive? I wish I had them in my house. The drawers that they have the soft close.
Yeah.
So you can. Yeah, I'm looking at George. George is like, what is he talking about? They got these like a silverware drawer. You can push it really fast, and it looks like it's going to slam. And the minute it gets to the end of closing, it just goes.
Oh yeah, and it slowly goes. Okay, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a great analogy.
That's the exact gondola. Yeah.
Yeah, because you swear you're going to smash into the one in front of you.
I said, "Oh my God, we're coming in hot!"
Yeah. I yelled that a couple of times as well when I was riding.
It
Do
just
you
knows
have
what
to
to
brace
do.
yourself at all for anything? Like, is it like?
Oh, the first
is it
landing,
one-
I
is it
was
one-
ready to die. Yeah. Sweet Jesus, take me. No, it didn't happen though. It was great.
That's great. Now, another thing, and I'm assuming that this is pretty much mutual between the both of you, that the views once you're up there are probably breathtaking.
Yeah, I would say that the one from the Caribbean beach to Art of Animation and Pop Century was just over water, but it was still nice because you were only like, what, 7 or 8 feet above the water, Stan? It didn't feel like we were too high.
Yeah, it's really low to the water.
It's low, but the one that goes from Caribbean Beach to Riviera and then Epcot, I went, wow. Okay, the colorful roofs of the Caribbean Beach
Mm-hmm.
plan on this being a gondola area. But the fact that those roofs are colored and they look like little Caribbean villages, I was like, wow.
You get a different perspective of it.
Yeah. And it looked like it was meant to be this way with these little confetti of colors in the sky. And Riviera looked amazing from
the ride over to Epcot, once the overhaul of Epcot is complete, of where you are on the Skyliner, would that also be where you could actually experience once they're finished with Epcot, as far as like the completion?
Yeah, right now it's a war zone, right, Stan? You can see it.
Yeah, so there's all sorts of construction. I have a really cool story about that. One thing I'm noticing that a lot of people posting is on the back of the French Pavilion, there's a huge banner that has Ratatouille opening summer 2020. And everyone is pointing that out. Now, on my trip on what day was it? I came in Monday, it was Tuesday, Wednesday, I did the Backstage Magic Tour, where you go to 3 parks and you go to all the backstage areas of 3 different parks. So, of course, one of the things we do go on is a service road behind Epcot. So the cast member that was giving us the tour, later on we had lunch at our table, and he joined us at our table, and he said, "Did you notice that sign for Ratatouille opening summer 2020? And I said, "Yeah, I did notice that. I thought it was kind of weird that an advertisement like that would be in a backstage area that people can't see." And he said, "That sign was not there Monday." He says, "I worked Monday, and that sign was not there. I was off Tuesday. Now, today's Wednesday, and that banner is there." He said, "I don't know why that banner is there." And I said...
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Good.
And I said, "Could it be because the people from the gondolas will be able to see it?" And he said, "That's it. That's why they put that banner there as advertising for when you're riding the gondolas."
My cast member friend said, John, if you don't have to, don't show this area. Like, it's backstage. They got nervous that they had invited me and I was going to film a backstage area. And then when I pointed out, there's a banner there that's basically screaming for your attention. Mm-hmm. They said, "You know what? You're right. They're obviously wanting you to, they're saying, look, there's no way around you seeing this. And this is what's coming." And the truth is, all right, we get to see a backstage area for 6 months or so, maybe, until it looks gorgeous. So
yeah, and they're going to plan for the gondolas when they build that attraction.
Right. And there was also another area, Stan, that was under construction when you went over it. Was it on the way to Pop and from Caribbean Beach? It looked like they needed to do some, planting under it. It looked like another construction area.
Well, there was like 2 palm trees that were uprooted on the trail, I noticed.
Okay, that was before the water, I think, right?
Yeah, going to Art of Animation, Pop Century. Yeah. And so that trip was short.
What was your favorite routes, Panda?
The longest one going to Epcot from Riviera. So it was Caribbean Beach to Riviera. We didn't get off because the Riviera station isn't open. I don't know how they're going to handle that in the future, which makes a lot of people question, what if everybody at the Caribbean Beach station wants to stay on to get to Epcot? How are they handling the guests at Riviera? So I can't wait to see how that happens unless they have these people get off.
Now,
But the
they
reason
didn't have a separate. I mean, I know you wouldn't know because you didn't get off. Do they have a separate station at the Riviera?
it's a separate station, yeah, but I think it's all going to connect. So if everybody stayed on at Caribbean Beach to go right to Riviera, even though it's a separate station, there's no separate, empty gondolas coming in there.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
The announcement says if you're getting off, this is to get off to go to Riviera, but if you're going on to Epcot just to stay on, the announcement says, now they could change that.
Right, and we couldn't get off because Riviera wasn't
they told us to
technically
stay
open.
on.
But what if a lot of people, at the Caribbean stayed on?
Well,
there's
I
a
think
lot
it
of
would
guests at
depend on
Riviera
the
waiting to
time
get
of day. I think it would depend on the time of day. Like if somebody in the evening, people will be going back to the Riviera and not going to Epcot. Whereas in the morning, you're not going to be going. Mind you, I guess you're going from Caribbean Beach to Epcot in the morning. People from Riviera will also want to be going to Epcot. They won't
Right.
be able to get on.
Well, I guess a solution, and I really didn't think about it logistically, would be for them to send out an empty cabin for every one that has people possibly at Caribbean Beach so that you make sure you have enough. But getting back to your question, George, the reason that was my favorite was not only was it long, but you get to go over the hotel a little bit, like you see hotel area. Then you get to go over the parkway where you see the cars. You ride perpendicular and across. Then you go through that really cool turn that's right after the Speedway gas station by Boardwalk. And then you travel some more. And that, I have to say, the Epcot one was the most beautiful station. Do you agree, Stan, that one had the most, even as you land, the grass and stuff was all ornate.
I was just going to say that the pattern on the ground is really cool in that area.
I'm so glad you noticed that. I wonder how many people actually noticed that.
Oh, I'm sure everybody will. I noticed it right away.
I hope
and what's
so.
cool is you're coming in, you see Spaceship Earth off in the distance too as you're coming in as well.
I even saw Everest from up there.
Yeah.
Was that yours favorite? Was that your favorite, Stan?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The trip from Caribbean Beach or from Riviera, I guess it would be, to Epcot was easily, that's the most beautiful scenic. The trip over from Hollywood Studios to Caribbean Beach is really nice too because you get to go over all the trees.
Right. That's where I heard the birds.
But I didn't hear anything. But I was looking for like raccoons or wild animals or whatever might be walking in those woods because you could see pretty good.
I just thought of a raccoon jumping into the open slat, and being in the gondola with you. Your bloody hand desperately trying to get to the call button.
Well, if someone's on there with a baby, then you'll have an Incredibles 2 moment, like Jack.
Oh, God, yeah. It pays to mention the stations as well. Like I mentioned, the Caribbean Beach station was just really big and nice, and it was definitely felt like the hub of, activity. But when we stopped at the Riviera, even though we didn't get off, the doors open. Stan, did you notice the floor?
Look, cement, no?
No. If you get a chance, watch my video because I video when the doors open. It was a gorgeous cobblestone floor with this fan pattern. You did notice it.
Yes, I did notice it now. Yes, you're right. Yes.
So they didn't just phone in these silly little stations. This to me, I could say now this is like my fifth gate theme park. Do you want to go to Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, or do you just want to ride the gondola over there? It might be an option.
The Pop Century Art of Animation is really nice too. The one it's floating on the water. And it has like a big wave on the roof.
I was so in awe, I didn't even look at that one. I think I got off and right back on. When they say floating on the water, they built like a little island for it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And when you get off on the bridge that crosses Hourglass Lake, then you would choose Art of Animation or Pop Century. You're talking about people getting on Riviera. People from Pop Century and Art of Animation could fill up those gondolas pretty good before you even get to Caribbean Beach. I mean, they have to get off there to either go to Hollywood Studios or Epcot.
Oh, that's true.
But there would be a lot of people at that hub very quickly because those are two huge resorts.
You know what I can't help but think, too, is that this is going to even out Epcot so much. I mean, you remember Future World, which we can't even call it that right now, but Future World and World Showcase would be very uneven. You'd get a few stragglers from the boardwalk technically, and then all these people in Future World parking. Now there's going to be a lot of people entering through World Showcase. I think that's great.
Yeah, because before the only ones that would enter would be the ones staying at the Swan or Dolphin or the Boardwalk.
Yeah.
Now they're going to be a lot more coming in through World Showcase for sure.
Yeah.
And they only got 2 gates, like two things to let people in. So I'm not sure if they're going to expand that security entrance. Or
I know. I can't wait. It's just now, when me and Stan went, George, the lines weren't bad. I would say the most I waited was 10 minutes at Epcot to get back on, because there were a lot. I mean, remember there's 60,000 cast members, and they probably had 5,000 or 10,000 invited for that day, I'm guessing. So I really don't know what it's going to be like when it's tested and challenged.
And it's full blow. Yeah. Did yours pause at all when you were riding them?
Yeah, for about 3 or 4 minutes, the most I paused in one spot, and still the heat did not feel any worse to me than, it felt better than being in the sun outside walking.
Well, I definitely will say that we'll definitely see a difference, because, as I said, I'm going to go on the opening day. So you guys got to experience the relaxing part, and now you're going to see a video of me where my shirt's going to be ripped. I'm going to have holes over. My hair's going to be
I can't wait to find out. And then I wonder how long it'll take before it, becomes comfortably relaxing again, because it probably will. But I can't wait to watch your stuff, George, on the 29th and see what happens. I might try to meet you at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm actually coming down on the 27th, but I'm definitely going to be there for the opening of the Skyliner. So now here comes the biggest question that I don't think not only that I have, that I think everyone had when they even first announced this, was hot or not hot? and if so, how hot? We'll start with you, Panda.
Okay, it was 86 degrees when I went. I remember, Stan is bringing up something now that I didn't realize, that if you're facing forward, you're getting that wind in your face strong, where the people on the other side might not be. But they didn't complain either, and we all agreed that it was pretty comfy. When we stopped, it definitely got a little warmer, but again, not like people told me this is like a greenhouse hot box, and I did not feel that at all. I will say, I wrote it more than anybody should, because we went to every single, we were on it for a good 25 minutes altogether. I didn't find it that bad at all. I think it's better than walking in the theme park in the sun. And the breeze when it's on you is great.
Yeah, no, completely. If there was one point where it actually was getting kind of chilly in there, we were kind of contemplating whether we should close the windows or not, because it was getting kind of warm in there at one point. Or sorry,
the speed that it moves, and the slats, the way they're situated, is literally forcing air through to you. Yeah,
right on you. Yeah, but there was definitely, the people facing forward got much more of a breeze than the people facing backwards, because I was bouncing back and forth between them and could feel it immediately when I went from one side to another.
So
but I agree. We paused for a bit. It wasn't very long, and I didn't notice a change in temperature at all when we were paused. And it was right over Hourglass Lake. We paused actually twice. Once over a parking lot, another time over Hourglass Lake. The one over Hourglass Lake was a bit longer than the one over the parking lot. We didn't feel it warming up whatsoever when we were in
now,
there.
did it pause because the gondolas were lowering and they had to stop it to let the traffic, so to speak, go through, or what was the use for stopping? Like, did you stop actually in midair?
They asked and they didn't tell.
Yeah, they did not call us and inform us.
Yeah.
But it probably wasn't for any type of a handicap thing, since I saw that they didn't have to stop for that.
Yeah, but I was ready to pry the doors open and to jump into Hourglass Lake pretty soon. No,
yeah, it probably was Stan walking back and forth from one side to the other.
That's probably what it was. That's probably exactly what it was. Because I think we were on pretty much the same time, just different areas, I believe. Because we were pretty close to each other at the same time we were on, I think.
I went at 4:00. What time did you go?
3:30. So I must have just passed you.
We were definitely on at the same time at some point.
Yeah.
All right, passengers. Well, we're going to be pulling into the station, no pun intended. Or I should say maybe almost the notion of slamming into the station.
But braking softly.
Yes. But before we go, final thoughts. guys, like what's your overall experience? Just experience it for the first time. If you had to sum it
I'll
up.
let Stan end it. So I'll tell you that I did not expect to say this at all. If I had a choice and they said, John, you can go to Epcot now from the studios, we have a monorail here, or we have the gondola, I would absolutely 100% choose the gondola even without the AC, just because it's just, you're not crowded with a lot of people. It's a nice feeling, maybe because it's still fresh and new, but it's zippy, efficient, convenient. I liked it a lot.
Nice.
And I want to definitely thank Angel, if he's listening. I would do the live video while we were writing him. He was the cast member that got me on.
I
Definitely want to thank him.
Out picture with Angel ever again. He didn't invite me.
The one thing, the colors that they chose are amazing. They really brighten up everything. And after we did the tour, we got let off at Hollywood Studios, and I was staying at Pop. Would have been nice if I could have taken the gondola back to Pop, but it wasn't allowed. You weren't allowed to leave the station at Pop Century. I took the bus back to Pop Century from Hollywood Studios, and they got the new bus stations at Hollywood Studios that weren't there. They were just building them last time I was there, which are gorgeous. I love the retro look of the new bus stations at Hollywood Studios. The Pop Century bus is the very last station. I'm not sure what's Pop Century for Art of Animation, but they're the last two stations that you could possibly walk from the main gate. Now you're going to be the closest, as long weather permitting, when you ride these. But I waited, I don't know how long, just sweltering in the sun for the bus to come. The bus shows up, and we were just crammed in there like sardines. I'm standing at the very back of the bus. I got somebody's armpit in my face, and you can hear that diesel engine going. The other thing, too, is these gondolas are whisper quiet. You don't hear, if no one's talking, you don't hear anything except for birds. When you're, if you're John, when you're riding them. And the bus was just so uncomfortable after getting off these gondolas. Like, I'm so grateful that they're building these things, I tell you.
Well, so glad that we're ending this on a high note and with a positive notion to the bus system. So.
But Stan, if you had to compare it to the monorail, just give me what you would say, what you would choose.
Oh yeah, I'd take the gondolas over the monorail. Yeah, okay, easily. Cool. Yeah, the monorail is the same type of thing. You're crammed in there. You're waiting. It'd be interesting to see though what the lines are going to be like for these gondolas. And it's a constant moving, kind of like the Haunted Mansion. It's constant moving, so you should be constantly moving. The issue with the buses is you wait and wait and wait. Like, I took the bus from Magic Kingdom to Pop Century one time, and now I have to admit though, the lines were much better on this trip than they were my last two trips at staying at Pop Century. I've been there, like 2 trips ago, I was looking at my Facebook memories, and the line went around the building to get to Magic Kingdom. And we had a huge line at one point on this trip, and 2 of those extra long buses pulled up at the same time and took everybody. So they're doing their part. Like, the buses are doing their part. And the same thing, the monorails, they're working it to maximum capacity, but crowd levels are higher than ever. Something has to be, helping out more.
It's definitely going to relieve the buses, I think, a little.
I think for Pop Century and Art of Animation, a lot. It will really.
That's probably where they need it.
For 2 parks. I mean, the Magic Kingdom line is still going to be, but now they'll have more extra buses that could do more Magic Kingdom loops and Animal Kingdom loops.
It is going to make me want to stay at Caribbean Beach and Riviera more.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I was thinking actually considering going off property, but now I'm staying at Pop again.
No, when Rise of the Resistance is open, we stay at Pop Century, keep going back and forth. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, easily. This is, Pop Century is now going to be my well, it already was my go-to resort, but it's going to continue as opposed to being an off-property person.
Disney thought this through.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you, guys, for answering all my questions. Now I'm really excited to experience it myself. But as I said before, at least you guys got the calm before the storm. I'm going to I'm going to have a Royal Rumble when I go on opening day. But John, it's always a pleasure having you on with us. And
Thank you. This is fun.
really quick, where can our passengers find you?
BigFatPanda.com is the YouTube channel. The gondola video is there. Usually I do short videos. This is a 10-minute one. I wanted to show as much as I could. So I got really good shots of the inside the cabin too. So thank you.
Awesome. And Stan, it's always a pleasure. And again, passengers, definitely check out the new Skyliner. It's going to be opening soon, and I will be down there on opening day. So if you're there with all the other thousands of people and you happen to see me, say hello. Please just don't tackle me. And on that note, Ken, take it away.
If you would like to keep the adventure going after the show, be sure to like our Facebook friends page, Grand Circle Tour Magical Ticket Holders. While on Facebook, like our group page, Grand Circle Tour. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Grand Circle Tour Podcast, as well as Instagram, GCT Podcast, and our YouTube channel, Grand Circle Tour. If you would like to send us a message, you can email us at gctpodcast@gmail.com. T-shirts and other fun merchandise can be found at tpublic.com. Simply search Grand Circle Tour Podcast. If you enjoyed your adventure, leave us a review on Apple Podcast. Only one rule, make it good. Thank you for riding with us, and welcome home.